I'm here really quickly. I'm going to get on something different because this is a little bit old, needs to be washed. So, game's going to kick off in like 4 minutes. So, I'll be right back. All right. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Really appreciate it. We're a few minutes before kickoff here, so that's pretty incredible. We are on Miami to win and cover tonight. That is what we are on. They have still not updated game on paper. That's beautiful, but that's because ESPN took a lot of their time, their sweet, sweet time, to update FPI. Have no reason why. I don't know why it took them so long to update FPI either. FPI has this game. Let me see. They have it as. I think they're favoring Miami by 57.1%. Miami is favored by about 3 here. Getting the stats for the teams. Gotta, of course, get the depth charts up in here. I'm curious to see what Trinidad Chambliss does. I think both of these games are probably going to be close because both spreads think so, that both will be close. But I've been wrong before. Vegas, the books guys aren't always correct. They're just correct a majority of the time. Plus, they tax you for betting with them. That's how they make money. They're not always correct. One area where I kind of, not totally, but kind of think the sharps are incorrect, for example, or the books and the people that know what they're talking about, is Oregon covering tomorrow. I don't know if I agree with that. I can see Oregon winning. I can see them covering more easily than I can winning since the line is above 3. I have food with me. I'm going to try to not eat it until halftime, but no promises. No promises whatsoever. Whew. Wow. Can't wait for this game, guys. It's going to be so good. So good. So good. So good. Man. Probably hide this a little bit. Does it even matter? I don't know if it even really does matter. Yeah, I just appeared mid-sentence. Is that what you said? Interesting. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to look at the FanDuel number. See if sharps are like pouring in on Ole Miss or not. Nope, doesn't seem like it. Public seems to be on Ole Miss here. Not by a ton, but by enough. I bet you tomorrow there will be more public and sharp bets that come in on Oregon, just because of how unbalanced it is. Yeah. This is the underdog game here because whoever wins this game is going to be an underdog to the winner of tomorrow's game. Tomorrow's teams are ahead of today's teams by at least a field goal in all power ratings. There is no rating system that would have Miami ahead of Oregon or Indiana. None. None that you should care about. Same thing with Ole Miss. Doesn't mean those teams can't win. They very well can. But yeah, like Oregon or Indiana, those are the top 2 favorites to win it all. Yeah, it seems like if anything, there's money coming in on Miami. If anything. But we'll see. Yeah, I like how the books have balanced everything. So right before this game kicks off, you can bet the national championship spread, and Indiana is favored by 3 more than Oregon is over any opponent from this game, which is how Indiana's favored over Oregon is by 3.5. It's good. Good stuff. Everything's aligned. And Hoosier Viking, by the way, I saw you made a post in my community talking about the transfer portal and me talking about that with Buffton Prime. That is going to take place, but probably sometime next week. We'll talk about the national title game, and we'll talk about the transfer portal too. That's what we'll do. So everyone, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. This crowd looks majority Ole Miss. I would not be shocked if this were somewhat of like an Ole Miss home game. But Miami is going to kick it off. They won the toss and deferred. Really anxious to see what comes out of this one. There. Well, centered. Chair is comfortable. Kickoff went through the back of the end zone, and we'll get to see Trinidad Chambliss and the Ole Miss offense out first. So Ole Miss is led on offense, obviously, by Chambliss, who has 3,660 passing yards, completes 66.4% of his attempts.
You've given your heart.
Attempts on the
You've
season.
enriched the school's
21
tradition.
touchdowns, 3 interceptions,
You were there for the yucks
520 rushing
and the
yards for 8
downs.
touchdowns.
You've been the driving force behind your team all year. Now your school's made it to the postseason, and Taco Bell is celebrating you for all that you do. We're picking up the tab by giving some of you free tickets to the perfect seats at the college football playoff. The Taco Bell live my student section. Because when your team makes it, so do you.
Nope. They're going to motion the tight end in. They are going to do a little bit of an RPO. Got about 3.5 yards out of that to the right side of Chambliss. It'll be second and 7, 2nd and 6. They're going quick tempo, which is the opposite of what Ohio State did. So Miami is going to have to, make adjustments to that. They're going to hand it off, run it with Kawan Lacey, but Lacey only gets out to the 30 before being bottled up by Mohamed Toure, Zechariah Poyser, by Thomas, the defensive back. It seems like Akeem, oh boy. Yeah, 99 is hurt. I think that's Ahmad Moten. Yep, Ahmad Moten Sr. Seems like he's already dinged up, just couldn't get up on his own. That's unfortunate. He was injured in that last game against Ohio State, like towards the end. He got dinged up. He might be done for the day. Just based on that, he tried to get up, couldn't. He's been dinged up before. You wonder if it's wise to put him back in the game unless they really need him. And you don't know until you know with that type of stuff. Yeah, I mean, he was hurt before then. He was hopping during the play while Lacey was tackled. I don't know what happened, but it's something with his right ankle, right leg. Can't put any weight on it right now. It's not good. Oh, I need to mute my browser. Thank you. Sorry about that. Yep. Desktop audio is off. Thank you for the reminder, chat. It's going to be 3rd and 4, so Lacey picked up a gain of like 3. 3rd and 4 from the 31. Clock restarts. Chambliss and Lacey are in there. They also got 19 in the backfield, Caden Lee, their slot receiver. Looks like Miami's going to send a blitz or at least a sim pressure of some kind. Looks like Miami is in man coverage. Lacey is going to get the ball out, but he's going to be sacked. He would have been sacked if he didn't get the football out. It's an incomplete pass. Good pass rush there by Miami. And Ole Miss will have to punt early. Yeah, they had 6 guys right up at the line of scrimmage. They sent 4 of them, backed out with a sim pressure. They're going to call it intentional grounding, too. He was not outside of the tackle box. Very close, but I don't think he was quite outside of the tackle box there. So they're going to call it intentional grounding. The ball will be placed at the 16-yard line. That's where they'll have to punt it away. So you'd assume that Miami would get valuable field position there. And Miami has a guy back called Malachi Toney. And Malachi Toney this year has been averaging, let me see, 271 divided by 18. He's been averaging 15 yards per punt return. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can get any field position, maybe a touchdown. They are going to punt it away. Looks like they're going to punt it. Yeah, fair caught by Toney. That was a very bad skycast view of the punt. You couldn't see anything. I can't see anything, at least. I don't know what the skycast was doing there, but Toney didn't do anything with it. It seemed like he shanked the punt or intentionally punted it out of bounds. Yeah, they're going to have it 1st and 10 at their own 36. So actually, it was a punt towards one sideline. Wasn't a shank. It's a pretty good punt. You're going to get Carson Beck and Mark Fletcher, Malachi Toney. Also got a tight end in there. They're going to hand it off to Fletcher. Fletcher shimmy shaking. Fletcher with extra push probably gets a gain of 5, maybe 6 out to the 41 or 42-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 41, so it'll be a 5-yard gain on the ground. They got push there in a way that they did not get push basically all day until maybe late 4th quarter against Ohio State. This is not the same defense as Ohio State. If they're able to operate as efficiently in this game as they did against OSU, you'd expect Miami to be able to put up good amounts of points. They definitely have the line of scrimmage edge here. Beck, he's going to motion over Keelan Marion. He's going to get him out in the flat, and Marion is going to pick up a first down. He's going to get to, I believe, yes, the 49 of Miami and pick up a first down. So first down of the game comes from the Hurricane side of things. Shannon Dawson, their play caller. Miami this year runs a offense that is 31st in adjusted EPA per play. They have a 45.8% success rate. Success rate would tell you they're better in pass offense than run offense, but I think especially in the playoff, their rushing offense is their strength. It is going to be a play action for Beck. Beck is going deep, and he overthrew Toney. It felt like Toney may have been held there by number 2 for Ole Miss, but I just think they ran into each other, so they didn't call anything. It was Jalen Braxton, or maybe it was number 3. No, number 2. Braxton was out there. He's the backup left corner for Ole Miss. Just missed Toney there. Toney would have had a touchdown if they connected. It was open on the seam. So looks like it's going to be a run. It will be. Fletcher gets into Ole Miss territory for about a gain of 2, maybe 3. So it'll be 3rd and 7, I think. A third and long. They're going to list it as 3rd and 8, actually. Let's see what they do. So they have Mark Fletcher. They have C.J. Daniels, Keelan Marion, Malachi Toney, and they also have number 9, Elijah Lofton out there. So Beck looks like he's going to try to take off to pick up the first down. I think he got close, but it's going to be 4th down. It's going to be 4th and short at the Ole Miss, I think 42, maybe 43. Yeah, it's going to be 4th and 2. They're going to go for it. They bring off Daniels and Marion, I presume, to bring in probably an extra tight end, like maybe Alex Bauman. Yep, they bring in Bauman, 87. Gilbert is in, and Gilbert's... So they have, right here, this is 13 personnel. They have 1 running back. They have 3 tight ends lined up to the left. You'd assume this is going to be a straight run up the middle. But I do not know if that's true. It is And Fletcher, I think, Fletcher's got it. They were trying to go to the left, and Ole Miss blocked that up well, but the interior of that O-line got enough push to pick up that first down there with 13 personnel. You can see it on the Skycast. The tight ends didn't really do much, but you had 77, or maybe 70, I think 78. Yeah, you had Matthew McCoy get through that. No, 73. I keep getting it mixed up, guys. I'm sorry. You got Inez Cooper through that initial D-line front of Ole Miss. He got to the second level, provided a bit of a hole for Fletcher to just get enough to pick up the first down. We do have an unfortunate injury for an Ole Miss player, though, and now a commercial break. Very unfortunate. Hopefully he gets better. Pray he gets better. In other news, something that we can fill the conversation with is what's happening in the transfer portal. So Xavier Gillum just followed Jim Knowles to Tennessee. He was one of Penn State's only 300-pound defensive tackles. He did okay this year when he was, in the game. He is committed to Tennessee. It's a big get for Tennessee, especially when I think Ohio State was in on him too. Good get for Tennessee there. I mean, Tennessee just needs, they got a corner, they got, a D tackle. They needed players on defense, and they at least have some understanding of Jim Knowles' system. So, good gets. Any other good gets we have doesn't quite look like it so far. I'm shocked that Isaiah Horton, wide receiver for my Alabama, formerly of Miami's in the portal. That shocks me, for sure. Oof. Live betting line is Miami minus 6.5 right now. That's the live line. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so those are the transfer portal updates. We also got Zion Williams, a defensive lineman, going from LSU to Texas. Not a ton of updates today, but Xavier Gillum was one of the better defensive tackles in the portal per 24/7 Sports. He's moving on to Tennessee now. So that's a get. We're back in the game. It really feels like one of those game control Miami drives. And based on it, again, it's very early, first drive for each team. Ole Miss is going to have to find a way to protect Chambliss because Georgia does not have a lot of pass rushers on that defense. They are a run defense, not a pass defense. Their pass defense is very mediocre. This is just, they're going to hand it off to Charmar Brown. Brown is going to get maybe a gain of 4. Charmar Brown's their bigger power back, for context. Fletcher, all their backs have power. Brown, you could probably say, is more like a fullback. And then Fletcher is a power back with some shimmy shake to him. It listed as a 5-yard gain, so it's going to be 2nd and 5 from the 36 of Ole Miss. Based on what I can tell, it's just 11 personnel. You got Bauman, the tight end, Charmar Brown, the running back, and they got Tony in with Keelan Marion and CJ Daniels. It is going to be a screen where Tony gets basically no gain. Or he got very close to the first down. I might be getting myself confused. Yep. That was my bad. I got it confused. It was a 5-yard pickup on a screen pass. Nice design. The O-line did their job, pulling out to the left to block and give Tony just enough space to pick up 5 yards. This is what Miami wants to do. They want these 3rd and very shorts, 3rd and manageable, so that they can just hammer the rock home. And once again here, they have 13 personnel. Guys, once again, they got 3 tight ends. They got a running back. It is going to be a play action, and they're going to try to pick it up with Brown, and they do. They get a 5-yard gain on just a dump off out of the backfield. Nice play action design. Beck was looking deep, progressed through all his reads. He wanted Lofton. Lofton's like their more nimbler tight end, but he wasn't really open. Maybe if he would have waited a little bit longer, but he was not open then, so just, pick up the first down. It's only a yard. That's Carson Beck at his best. When he progresses through his reads, when you give him time to throw, and he can beat check down Charlie, he'll win you games. I mean, Miami already trying to take out clock, control the possessions. Fletcher gets down to the 22. That's going to be a 2nd and 6 situation, 4-yard gain by Mark Fletcher. He has 14 carries for 4 yards. That's what they want at bare minimum, just 3 yards in a cloud of dust there. And now they're in field goal range, but you want a touchdown here. And they have, so this is 12 personnel. They got a tight end on each side of the O-line. Fletcher's in the middle behind Beck. Beck's under center. They're going to motion over C.J. Daniels. It is going to be a handoff to Fletcher. Fletcher breaks a tackle and gets inside the red zone. He'll be down at the 18. It's going to be 3rd and once again short. Going to be 3rd and 2 at the 19. That's where they spot it. Ole Miss defensively. There is one thing they suck at. They suck at this. It's stopping the run. They give up 5.5 yards per carry. In terms of EPA per rush, they are 132nd. In terms of rushing success rate, Ole Miss is 130th on a 46.5% rushing success rate. They're going to bring in Malachi Toney as a wildcat player on 3rd and 3. It's going to be a direct snap to Toney, and that's going to be a tackle for loss. About a 1-yard loss on 3rd and 3. I have no idea why they did that when, everything they were doing is working. They got a little bit cute there. They had no protection for him, like no additional blockers. It was just 5 offensive linemen with Toney behind them. That didn't fool Ole Miss at all. Ole Miss had a numbers advantage. They take advantage of it. It results in the first TFL of the game. I was joking with a friend of the channel, Bald Father Betts, in a text exchange saying, over under 2.5 insane decisions by either staff. That was 1. I only need 2 more. Miami makes their field goal. They're up 3-0. 6:22 left in the game. That was crazy. that was insane, genuinely. Because everything was working for them up until that point. If they just run it up the middle there, no problem. They get it. Or something very close. But Miami, that drive was 7 minutes, 13 plays, 44 yards. They get a field goal out of it. And based on their first defensive series, it looks like they're going to have some success. Yeah, I meant 6:22 left in the quarter. Sorry, never mind. Who are you hate watching, pissed off Ohioan? Who are you hate watching in this game? Yeah, tomorrow's game's gonna be crazy. based on what I'm seeing in like picks and trends and the analytics, Indiana should win in a close game. They should not win by 10 in the way they did in Autzen, but they should win. That the most common outcome is that Indiana wins, but Oregon at the original line covers. At the current line, I don't quite know. Oh, you're hate watching Miami. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, Miami and Ohio State. That's a pretty rough game if you were a Buckeye, because I think that was Ryan Day's worst loss since 2022 Michigan. And if you adjust for opponent and what people thought about Ohio State, it was probably their worst loss since Oregon in 2021, honestly. So that was tough for sure. But we're about halfway through the first quarter, and we're going to have plenty of good football left. Miami up 3-0, got a field goal on their first drive, which was a long drive, a 7-minute drive. Can Ole Miss respond after going 3 and out and nearly taking a sack that resulted in an intentional grounding? We shall see. They're going to let this bounce out of the end zone, where it's going to be 1st and 10. Are we going to have another? We're going to have another commercial break. That's what we're going to have. Darn it. We're going to have another commercial break. All because we have to. Sucks. Sucks, man. Per FPI, Miami has a 63% chance to win. I love the game on paper stats, so let's go with that to see what's going on here. Just very early thoughts, because Ole Miss has only ran 3 plays. Miami's only ran 12, so not a large sample here yet. But Miami's averaging a 50% success rate. That's pretty good. They're not averaging a lot on the ground, but they're more of a power rushing offense. They don't get very explosive at all. Ole Miss is doing horribly, but again, it's a 3-play sample, so we can't take much away from that. Miami's also generating a 33% havoc rate, but that's because one of the 3 plays, again, was basically a sack. When they call intentional grounding, they basically call that a sack. If someone was near it, they give credit, I believe. So, yeah, Mohamed Touré is that sack, even though Chambliss threw it out. He just wasn't outside of the pocket, so they counted it as a sack. Yeah. Just not enough of a sample to have any big takeaways yet. My biggest takeaway right now is that if Miami can do to, if Ole Miss can do to Miami what they did to Georgia, they'll win. That's a huge ask because of the differences in opponent, and you're asking Chambliss to play his 2nd game in a row that's all time. But I think it's very clear based on that first Miami drive that Mario Cristobal is not in the mood to maximize his chances of winning with that Wildcat call. That was bad. That was such a bad call. Again, like, that was insane decision 1. I cannot wait to see what insane decision 2 is. Not from Cristobal specifically, but just in this game. I think that there will be a lot of insane decisions today, at least more than a usual amount. Thank you, Hoosier Viking, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. Just to get things started, enjoy the game, everyone. Make sure to give Sam a thumbs up. Thank you, Hoosier Viking, for being a member, for supporting the channel. Hope you enjoyed all the Hoosier content that we released today. Thank you again. Speaking of which, it would be useful to look at some YouTube analytics. Also, transfer portal updates. I know it's rumored that John Henry Daly is going to be committing to, like, Michigan tonight. So, curious to see if that happens. Very, very curious to see if that happens. For sure. And we're probably going to gain 100 subscribers today, guys. So, that's pretty good. All right, Ole Miss is down 3-0, 1st and 10 at their own 25. Chambliss is going to roll out, almost rolls into pressure, Lacey is able to break a few tackles to get a gain of 3 instead of just 1, but Miami gain tackles him, and it's going to be 2nd and 7, maybe 2nd and 6. Yeah, I think they're going to list it as 2nd and 6. They do. They're going to try to hand it off again. Nope. It's going to be a run for Chambliss, and Chambliss just gets back to the initial line of scrimmage. That was a wonderful tackle by one of the defensive ends there. I believe that was right defensive end Akeem Mesidor who made that tackle. I believe that was number 3. Just pushed him out of bounds. No gain. It's 3rd and 6. And Chambliss is all back there by his lonesome. Step back and incomplete. Going to be 4th and 6. Another 3 and out for Ole Miss. And Ole Miss will send out the punt team. So they sent a blitz, and that was, I think they sent Keontae Scott on a blitz there. They did, and Ole Miss didn't pick it up, and Chambliss got hit hard as he threw. So Ole Miss is going to have to punt this one away. TV's frozen for whatever reason. I have no idea why it's frozen, but whatever. It'll unfreeze at any moment. Yep, they punt for 48 yards, and Miami will have it at their 23. They're doing a good job of punting it out of bounds. Really good job of punting it out of bounds. To prevent Malachi Toney from getting a chance to return it. And we got a commercial break. Having Gavin on from Crimson Cast should get you some subs. Yeah. Galen was a wonderful guest. That was a fantastic episode. We gained about 100, I think, today alone. Would expect to gain more as we have 4 more hours of the day left. It's been a pretty incredible day, and we'll have one more episode up after tonight. Obviously, we'll have the instant reaction, though that might be released technically tomorrow, even though very early in the AM. I have an Oregon video that I just didn't have the time to release today featuring Nate Bishop of... No, that registered as a swear word, did not mean to say it. Nate Bishop joined us. And that was a pretty good episode from the Oregon perspective. I want to get more... We've done a good job getting IU guests. I've had Ohio State guests. I've had Nebraska guests, but more so Indiana and Ohio State. I want to get more guests from different fan bases on. Experts at their craft from different fan bases. Let me see what Twitter is saying about this game. I don't even know if it's worth it. So much Twitter analysis is just, like, insane. Oh, wow. Jacarius Peak transferred to South Carolina. That's a pretty big get, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's a pretty big get. I think he was good this year. That's a... Gosh, that's something else right there. Wow. Oklahoma State is over 30 commits right now in their portal class. They're starting to, get some more. They got Justin Bowick from Illinois. That's I know, like, Oklahoma State might be like wild stuff. Justin Bowick's a pretty good receiver. Illinois is pretty good receivers. He just couldn't crack he couldn't be a starter. He couldn't crack, the starting lineup. But he's good. He'll probably be an all Big 12 receiver next year. Bowick's really good. Okay, they're going to hand it off. There's a big hole for Charmar Brown. He's going to get like 8 yards, maybe 9 on that first carry. Just nice blocking there by a dominant Miami O-line. It's going to be 2nd and 8. This is the drive if you're, or 2nd and 2. This is the drive where if you're Miami, you want to punch this in for a touchdown and really make Ole Miss feel it. Because I'm not going to lie, Ole Miss kind of looks a little bit disoriented offensively. Like they didn't have time to game prep for what Miami's defense would do. It's going to be a tight end screen to Bauman. Bauman is going to get out to the 37, 38 yard line. He'll pick up a first down. Nice little tight end screen there. Charmar Brown is still in there. It's going to be a fake toss, play action, and it's somehow reeled in and caught by Tony. There is a flag, though. Tony got hit hard, and number 29 for Ole Miss is down. 29 is Nick Cull, backup strong safety. And damn, Tony is going to go in the injury tent. They're probably going to check him for a concussion because of the hard hit, and I imagine Cull is going to be hit for targeting. I imagine that's going to be the penalty. Yup, that's why they're reviewing it. It was called for targeting, so they're going to review it, see if it was. That's a big loss, though. If Tony's out, I mean, Miami Cannon should still win with what Ole Miss's defense is. But that's still a big loss if Tony gets out. Just wow. I hope he's okay. I hope Tony's okay. Hope that Cull is okay. I don't think that was targeting, though. I think that it was just a hard hit where Cull just like smacked him in the chest. Didn't look like he was trying to target him. Don't call targeting, guys. Okay, so here's my opinion. Even textbook targeting shouldn't be targeting. It should only be considered targeting if it looks like the guy has, if like what's a good example? Okay, good, they overturned it. No targeting. But they picked up a first down anyway. Miami did. So what Elijah Pritchett did at the Minnesota game, where he shoved a D lineman down and then lowered his head to hit the other guy in the head. That's what targeting should be. Like when you're intentionally trying to hurt someone and it's blatantly obvious. Because let's be real here, like football, you're not intentionally trying to kill someone or cause a season-ending injury, but you want them to feel pain. That's what contact's all about. There needs to be clearer rules on what targeting is. Brown is still in the game along with Alex Bauman. This is going to be a run for Charmar Brown. Brown quickly changes direction. Brown's still going, and there is a flag I imagine that'll be holding, but he is down at the 30, 31. They're walking back as if it's going to be holding, though, and I imagine it's going to be holding. Yup. It is holding, and it's on Bauman, the tight end, number 87. So they're going to be backed up, and it will be 1st and 20 from the Miami 41. Yeah, Bauman there, he's holding number 6. That's TJ Daugherty, their Mike linebacker. Can't be doing that. Not in a game like this. And Miami has a really tough time getting out of those situations. Really tough time. No, they list it 1st and 16 actually. So that's better than 1st and 20, but still bad. They are going to send a screen, and that screen is to Josiah Trader. Gets close to the original line of scrimmage. It's probably going to be a gain of 4, so it's going to be 2nd and 12, I believe. Maybe 2nd and 11. This is 4th down territory. If they make it like 4th and very short, like 4th and 3, 4th and 2, I could see them going for it, and they probably should. Call it 2nd and 13. They bring back Mark Fletcher in. They sub out Bauman, bring in Elijah Lofton. Tony's back in the game, so that's really good. Beck is going to lateral it. It's picked up by number 4, Mark Fletcher, and Fletcher's able to get across the 50, but it's going to be 3rd and long still. It's going to be really 3rd and 9 from the 48. And that was a backwards pass. Dangerous there by Beck, but Fletcher turned it into something. Turned it into a gain of 3. That was a very dangerous play by Beck there. But good awareness by Fletcher. 3rd and 9. Miami just dominating TOP, but they're only ahead by 3. Let's see if they can convert this. Looks like Ole Miss is going to send some type of exotic pressure, and there's going to be a false start. Yep. So it's going to be 3rd and 14. Miami just seems to be out of sorts on this drive a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit of a flitch there by Markel Bell, who is the left tackle. Maui Goa, their star, being their right tackle. And they are going to hand it off to Fletcher. Very conservative play call. And Fletcher doesn't even get to the 50. He gets to the 49. So it's like a 3-yard gain. And it's going to be 3-0 to end the half unless something insane happens. They're probably going to try to set up a 4th and short if he got a big gain. But you're not going to convert a 4th and 14, man, by running the ball. You're not even going to get close. You're just not. So Miami will be punting this away. And it will be ruled as a touchback. So that quite literally is, I think, just a like 30, 31-yard net punt. That's pretty crazy. And Ole Miss will have it with 24 seconds left on a 1st and 10 from their 20. Good stop by the Rebel defense, and a lot of screw-ups there by Miami's offense. I mean, Miami right now has a 12-minute, 8-second possession edge, an 84 to -3 yardage edge, 5-0 first down edge, and they only have 3 points to show for it. See what Ole Miss can do here. It's going to be a handoff to Kejuan Lacey. He gets a gain of 1, maybe 2. That'll be the final play, I believe. Well, no, Ole Miss is going tempo. Let's see if they get something off. I don't know if they will. 2nd and 8. They're going to call, that might be I think that's an offsides. Miami's moving as if it is, but we'll see what they call it. Yup, they're going to call it offsides. That was a good job by the center to just snap it due to the offsides. And number 11 is called for that. So that turns a 2nd and 8 into a 2nd and 3. And that foul was on David Blay Jr. And that'll be the end of the first quarter. So Ole Miss will have it 2nd and 3 at their 27. You'd expect them to pick up a first down, but this Miami defense has been pretty red hot so far. So I don't know. How are you guys doing? We almost have 200 concurrent viewers here. Bots have arrived. Well, thank you for eliminating them. All right, I have some leftover Panera, so excuse me if you find my eating annoying, but I'm going to be eating that because Panera bread's delicious. So, yeah. So good. Their mac and cheese is so good. Leftovers. I stopped at my parents' house to have dinner with them. I have dinner with them once a week, so, you know, we stay connected. It's just a tradition. Nice to have traditions now that I'm on my own, sorta. And, yeah, it's just they happen to have leftovers, and they're like, do you want some? I'm like, yeah. Like, this is gas. Oh, pissed off Ohio, and you have every right to... It's literally, it's in your name, so I'm not surprised. And you have every right to be mad. Like, Ohio State's better than both of these teams. I know that might make a Miami fan in here mad, but they are. They are. Like, Ohio State's better than both these teams. Their problem is offensive line, if you're weak there, because it's such an important position, can neuter all your other advantages, and that's what happened. That's so good. So good. Yeah, Trey, that's a good way of putting it. Like, only the G5 schools had a worse O-line. I mean, part of me would want to say Ole Miss, and that might actually be true, because Chambliss hides a lot of it. It might be Ole Miss. Ole Miss might have the worst O-line, but it's them or Ohio State, and Kiffin's never been known for offensive line, and Ohio State has been known for offensive line. All right, but we're back. No more eating. Time to lock in at the start of the second quarter as we did in the first. They're going to hand it off to oh my gosh, Lacey's gone. Lacey is gone. He is going to go, what is it? He's going to go 72 or 73 yards for a big Rebels touchdown. He just went right through the hole in the middle, and there we have it. We have an explosive. We talked about it on the preview. Talked about it in my preview. Like, the one thing Ole Miss has an edge on is explosives, both in stopping them and creating them. They got through the hole. Miami was really aggressive, sold out to stop the run, and Ole Miss blocked it up just well enough for Kewan Lacey to find a hole, break through a few shoestring tackles, and go into the end zone. And that's the big play. Like, Lacey now has broken 1,500 rushing yards. He has his 24th rushing touchdown. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. He's just... People talk about Chambliss. And don't get me wrong, Chambliss is phenomenal. Lacey's also phenomenal. Like, it's both of them. That is a tandem. That is the best running back quarterback tandem left in the playoff, is them. Like, I don't think Chambliss has a certain X factor none of the other quarterbacks do, but like Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza are better passers than he is. Lacey is just a better back in almost every way than the remaining running backs are, too. That's the edge that Ole Miss has. We talked about both those things in our preview. And that is why you should watch my channel, because we talked about, one way Ole Miss can win is the explosives. If they can pop explosives, and they can do that, like, that is their bread and butter. If they can do that against this Miami defense, which is possible, they can score points. They can get big plays. That's not Miami's style there. So Miami has to respond here because, again, they've dominated the game. Like, Ole Miss just had one successful play. That doesn't make up for the other, like, unsuccessful 7. And they're losing. And that almost could have been picked off. Nice of C.J. Daniels to catch it. That was a gain of 7, but that could have been picked off if the cornerback read that one, like, from the jump. It's just a ball that hung up in the air a little bit too long. And yeah, if you're going to beat Ole Miss, you can't let them be explosive, or you have to be explosive yourself to respond. You got to be efficient to beat them. And that was just a big swing in momentum. They're going to hand it off to Mark Fletcher. Looks like Fletcher, no. It looks like he could have had an explosive on his own, but he just gets a powerful run instead. So 32-yard line to about the 43. It's a gain of 11 from Mark Fletcher. 1st and 10 from their own 43. They're moving the ball already. Just what an insane play by Lacey. Not going to get over that one, but Lacey is insane. He's an alien. He's an alien player. He's a tackle buster, and he has breakaway speed, too. It's going to be a play action for Beck. Beck, oh boy. Oh boy, that's going to be called PI on Suterain Perkins, who is covering Mark Fletcher Jr., but that was, again, another risky pass by Beck. Goes to Miami's benefit because Ole Miss's defense, specifically Perkins, who's an edge, technically a buck linebacker, but still more of a D-end outside linebacker. You're not used to covering a running back like Fletcher who's good. Yeah, that was obvious PI. He pushed him to the ground before the ball was even in the vicinity. But again, like another risky throw. If Perkins covers that one better, he could have made a game-changing play. He could have possibly picked it off. Oh boy. That's an incompletion. Dropped. Screen pass. Yup. Just dropped by Tony. Thrown a little bit ahead of him by Beck. Cannot believe Ole Miss is in the lead after how those first 2 Miami drives went. But also I can. That's like that's textbook Miami, man. Textbook Miami. Yep. Pass. It's thrown behind number 3. But he catches it anyway. Number 3 being Joshua Moore, another true freshman. Malachi Tony's a true freshman, but he's the starting slot receiver. Joshua Moore's the backup X-receiver to Keelan Marion, who transferred in from BYU. Picked up a first down there. Miami moving this football again. Ooh, he was looking for Tony there deep, but he threw it out of bounds. It's a straight drop back pass, well protected until it wasn't, and he just had to get rid of it. Mark Fletcher comes out. Charmar Brown comes in. Shannon Dawson calling the plays. I would expect a run here, just to get in a comfortable position to maybe set up a 4th and short. Isn't urgent because, again, it's only second quarter with 12:43 remaining in the half, and you still get a whole 30 minutes. But, man, that explosive play is going to leave kind of a bad taste in Cristobal's mouth. They are going to run it, but with Carson Beck on a zone read, he gets past the 40. So this is an area where they are setting up shop to possibly, I could see them run it up the middle again, try to go for it on 4th down, but it is also 3rd and 7 at the 39. So do you drop back pass here? What do you do to best put yourself in a position to convert this? Ole Miss is creeping up to the line. It looks like they're going to send a 5-man pressure. Nope, they're going to back out of it, just 4. They do a lot of stunts. And Beck has Elijah Lofton over the middle. He picks up a 1st down to the 25, 24-yard line. Williams, number 16, subs himself out. Looks like he might be banged up a little bit, unfortunately. Wydett Williams is their starting free safety. Covering the middle of the field, back there in a deep zone. Hits Lofton, subs himself out, looked a little bit banged up after that hit. Lofton, their most athletic tight end for Miami. Their receiving tight end. First and 10. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. They might call that a false start, and that might save. Yeah, Alex Bauman's having a rough day. That was bad. But thankfully, Miami called the timeout before that. There was confusion. Clock was running down. Cristobal. That was a good move by Cristobal. A lot of people criticize Cristobal's in-game coaching. That was a really good timeout by him. Miami, by the way, is still beating Ole Miss at EPA per play. They're doing it because every play except for that explosive by Ole Miss was just a bad play. Like, it was a failed play. Yeah. Miami here, they haven't updated the clock yet, but they've already won. I think they've already won the first half in terms of TOP, which is kind of crazy. So it's 7-3, Ole Miss. Got 43 likes, guys. Let's get to 200 before halftime. Like this stream up. I appreciate it. Let's see what the chat is saying. Here comes Timmy from South Park. Yeah. Timmy from South Park could come out here. There's some Timmy. You know what I think it is, though, pissed off Ohioan? So here's what I think it is. I think against Ohio State, Miami was never under pressure because they got out to that early lead. They had a brilliant, they had some brilliantly scripted plays where, like, that RPO to the running back out of the backfield where it was like a fake QB run, fake option, whatever. That's a scripted play. Like, that's something you save for a game like that. I think Miami got off to a good enough start and was a big enough underdog to where they felt like they had nothing to lose. And now here you have something to lose because Ole Miss is not Ohio State and you're the favorite here. But yeah, as Nat Love LL122 said in the chat, I'll pull it up right here. Yeah, that was good game management there by Cristobal, seeing that something was going to go wrong. You were going to lose critical yards, burn a timeout. It's in the second quarter anyway. So 1st and 10 for Miami. They got Bauman in there. They got number 88, so they got their blocking tight ends behind Charmar Brown. This is 12 personnel. This is going to be kind of a counter handoff to Brown. He gets down to the 20, maybe to the 21. It's going to be 2nd down. They're going to list it as 2nd and 4, maybe 2nd. No, 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 7. It's a 3.5, 4-yard gain. Very close to the red zone. Now Miami with some tempo initially, but they're not gonna snap it like they're up tempo. Just don't think they wanted Ole Miss to sub out there. Beck, he's gonna go for the deep bomb and incomplete. Looking for Tony. No PI either. That was really good pass defense by Jalen Braxton, left corner, who we've talked about earlier. Really good pass defense by him. He had enough distance from Tony where he didn't put hands on him. He just kept his distance, raised his arm up, and made a pass deflection. Now it's 3rd and 6 at the 21. Beck, back to throw. He has it out to Tony. Tony breaks the tackle. Tony picks up a 1st down. He's so good. Ole Miss had him dead to rights. He broke through tackles and got an 8-yard gain on 3rd and 6. They had him dead to rights, and he broke those tackles. Just phenomenal play after phenomenal play by the true freshman. Just a nice route there. Beautiful. Kept his feet up, kept his balance, used his hand to get back up. And now Miami has life again, and Golding's a bit furious. Beck's going to hand this one off to Mark Fletcher. Fletcher's going to get inside the 10, down to the 7. So it's going to be 2nd and 2nd and 5. Maybe, they're going to list as maybe 2nd and 4. Listed as 2nd and 5. They are going to hand it off again to Mark Fletcher. Fletcher gets down to the 5. It's going to be 3rd and 2. If you're Miami here, I don't think you overcomplicate this. I think you run right into the teeth of an Ole Miss defense that is not even in goal line defense here. I think you just run it right into the teeth of them. And they are. And they're going to pick it up. And they're going to get down to the 2. Good call there. Don't overcomplicate it. You have an edge in power rushing. And by power rushing, I don't mean the concept power. I mean the type of run. Like run in between the tackles, put your head down, and get yards after contact. That's what I mean by that. You have the edge there. They will not stop you. And they're going to bring in, I think, Charmar Brown. They're going to bring in 83 to block. They're just going to, oh boy. They did bring in Brown. Brown got tripped up and fell backwards for about a yard. It's going to be 2nd and goal. Just tripped up there. Did not get the push. Miami didn't get the push they thought they were going to. It's going to be a 2-yard loss down at the 4. Cristobal's furious. Yeah, 83, I believe, is an extra offensive lineman. I think. looking for him on the depth chart. He isn't anywhere on the depth chart, but I'm assuming he's an extra offensive lineman. They're going to run it again with Brown. Brown's going to get in the end zone. Touchdown, Miami. 4-yard touchdown run. And the Hurricanes are up 9-7 with 7:09 left in the half. First touchdown of the day for the Miami Hurricanes. Another long drive. And they almost have, guys, they almost have 20 minutes of possession. That's the crazy thing. They almost got 20 minutes of possession. And they're only up by 3. Pending the extra point, which they should make. Yup, they make it. That's crazy. You know how many more plays they've ran than Ole Miss? Ole Miss only has 8 plays. Miami is 34. Insanity. Craziness. Craziness. Right there. And we're at a commercial break. Any more portal news? Let's see. Not really. Virginia Tech got a punter. It's not really news. You see the top players available. That could be a fun game to do at the half, is paste in a, browser link to the transfer portal and go with that. That could be fun. Paste in a browser link to the portal, crystal ball where they're going to commit for some of the top players. That might be a fun halftime activity. Sam, thoughts on Brandon Inniss coming back for his senior season? He needs to. He's not an NFL receiver. I think he's disrespected by some, but he's not elite. He's just a good receiver. I actually do like Ohio State's addition at receiver with that UTSA guy because he's fast. But they probably, if they're adding receivers because they think they need them, you probably want someone else besides just him. UTSA guy, Inniss, Chris Henry Jr., and Jeremiah Smith are not enough to keep up the production that they're used to having there. It's just not. They would need another guy. Because you don't know if Chris Henry Jr. is going to be ready to take the field. You don't know that. We don't know that. Not yet. We'll have to wait a little bit. I'll probably put him as an honorable mention all Big Ten at the worst because I have so much respect for Ohio State's receivers. But, yeah. Yeah, I am curious to see how the Rebels respond. Not just if they do, but how. If it's another big play based on the TOP and how Miami has moved it on every drive and scored on 2, I almost like Miami. Because at some point, Ole Miss's defense is going to be so tired out, they won't make plays. And for Ole Miss, explosives aren't a way to control the game unless you somehow get the ball back very late with enough time left to get a few plays off. But it's really fascinating, Miami's averaging 3.7 yards per carry. Ole Miss is averaging 12.8. But if you watch the game, you will know Miami is the more physical team. They're playing better. They look like the better team. Ole Miss just had that one amazing explosive where they blocked well, and Lacey scrambled through that hole and all the way to the end zone. He actually has more total yards than Ole Miss does because every other play pretty much has been stopped for minimal gain or even has resulted in a negative play. So, something to keep an eye on. If you're Ole Miss, you need that defense to rest. Now, I know that we've seen teams lose the TOP battle pretty badly and still win the game, but you never want to count on that, if you get what I'm saying. Did Lacey pull a groin on the long run? I don't know. I do not know. He isn't in the game right now, though. Logan Diggs is. If he did, that sucks. If he did, because they don't really have they don't have any offense right now without him. Going to be a play action for Chambliss. Chambliss is going to dump it off to Logan Diggs. Logan Diggs is able to break a few tackles. And they're going to call it a gain of 6 because he did step out initially. Yeah, Diggs is in. I don't know what's happened to Lacey, but that's very unfortunate if he did pull his groin. Got like a hernia. Diggs, though, has space, runs it up the middle for a first down. He's going to be 1st and 10 at the 38. So Ole Miss's O-line right now is doing a pretty good job getting some push in the ground game and opening up some holes. It's good for them. Play action. Chambliss has time. He is going to go deep, and it's going to be incomplete. He was looking for number 1, DeJon Stribling, but there is a flag. Curious to see whether or not it's holding or roughing the passer. I expect it to be holding based on where they're putting the ball. Oh, no. This is going to be roughing the passer, guys. That's going to be roughing the passer or illegal hands to the face. Oh, yeah, that's face mask. It was on number 5, Justin Scott, sophomore defensive tackle. So now Ole Miss has it in Miami territory pretty quickly. They're at the Miami 47. Logan Diggs still in the backfield. Daquan Wright, the tight end, motioning out as kind of a receiver on the outside. Play action pass. Got it to number 2, Harrison Wallace III, transfer from Penn State. And Ole Miss is going to be in business in Miami territory very quickly. Motioning Daquan Wright in again. It's going to be a screen. And poor tackling by Miami initially. Justin Scott missed the tackle. But Raul Aguirre Jr. was able to get over there and make a tackle to make it 2nd and 7 instead of a first down or maybe even a touchdown. Going up tempo, though, Ole Miss is. No sign of Lacey quite yet. Diggs gets through initial contact. Scott holds on, though, brings him down. It's going to be a gain of 1 at the most. It's going to be a 3rd and medium, 3rd and long. .450 left in the half. Chambliss back to throw. Is out of the pocket and just has to throw it away. And Chambliss, he's okay, thankfully, but he got kind of flung out of bounds there. So Ole Miss is going to have to settle for a field goal. Yeah, Chambliss looking to escape. And that should have been a flag right there. That should have been a flag on number 99. He pushed him after he threw. Ahmad Moten Sr. did, and that could have hurt him. 42-yard attempt for Ole Miss. Their kicker, Lucas Carniero, and he makes it. So it's 10-10. It's tied between Ole Miss and Miami. That was Ole Miss's best drive of the day because it was sustainable. They had a good amount of plays there. Took off 2 minutes, 30 seconds, gave their defense a bit of a rest. Miami still favored, though, on the live betting. But Ahmad Moten was lucky that was not a unnecessary roughness penalty. Both teams now have over 100 total yards. Miami has 11 first downs to Ole Miss's 44. And Miami has 19 minutes and 49 seconds of possession compared to Ole Miss's 5 minutes and 33. It's about as unbalanced as Texas Tech Oregon was. It's just at this point in the game, it was 3-0 Oregon. Meanwhile, here it's 10-10 Miami. So much more offensive here, even compared to the Cotton Bowl where Miami and Ohio State played. This is a much more offensive game, which we sort of expected. We expect Indiana, Oregon tomorrow to be expect that to be a more of a defensive game, I would say. Curious to see if we're wrong there. The only thing that's really surprised me is that Chambliss and the passing offense has basically been a non-factor. It doesn't shock me, though, that Lacey had the one explosive. I hope he's okay, but Lacey is an explosive back. He's a very explosive running back. So that does not shock me a ton. Bless me. Don't know why I'm yawning already. It's been a busy week. That's probably why. Been a busy week. Yeah, Miami is still dominating the analytics for the most part, but again, it's tied. And it's all because of that long Kejuan Lacey run. That's keeping Ole Miss in this thing when everything's going wrong for them in the first half, pretty much. That was a nice drive by, Chambliss and Logan Diggs in that offense to connect a little bit. And it's tied 10-10. Anyone's ball game. Miami will get this back with 2 timeouts, the 2-minute warning, 4 minutes and 38 seconds left in the half. And Miami will just let this one bounce out of the back of the end zone. So Miami will get it 1st and 10 at their own 25. I think if you're Miami, knowing you get the ball to start the second half, you want to run at your normal pace. Maybe a little bit quicker, but you have some timeouts in the 2-minute warning to preserve time. Just run your basic offense. Get down, preferably get a touchdown, but get any points on the board so you have an opportunity to double dip and take a 2-score lead out of the half. Yep, that's what they're going to do. They're going to run Mark Fletcher, but he only gets a yard. Ole Miss read that well. So it's going to be 2nd and 9. $11 personnel. They got a bunch of receivers to the right. And that was a beautiful tackle there by 20 for Mississippi. Or 30 maybe, Jaden Yates. Just out in the flat there to Keelan Marion. And yeah, that was Jaden Yates. Beautiful tackle there. So it's going to be 3rd and 5 from the 30. Beck. And that was a busted play. Number 32, Chris Graves Jr. just left a man wide open for a big gain down to the 50. So 20-yard pass from Carson Beck to Keelan Marion. Just corner route by Marion, and Graves Jr. read it wrong. Yup. He's out at the 40. He's out at the 44. So they bring it back a little bit from the initial spot, but Miami picks it up. They're going to run a tight end screen to Bauman. Bauman gets out to the 48, maybe 47. So not a big pickup, a gain of 3, maybe a gain of 4. Getting very close to the 2-minute warning here. This will probably be, knowing Miami and how successful they've been against this Ole Miss defense, this will probably be the final drive of the half. I would expect it to be. This game's also gone by quickly. It only started like an hour and 20 minutes ago. Hour and 15 maybe. Beck is going to... he has a man wide open to Keelan Marion for a touchdown. Wide open. Happened like right... He was about to get sacked, and then he saw it and flung it deep. And Marion is a 52-yard receiving touchdown to make it 17-0 Miami. Wide open. Wide open on the post. That looked like a post route. Wide open. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful throw, beautiful adjustment by Marion, beautiful catch, beautiful route. Everything there. Beck is 14 of 18 for 156 and a touchdown. He's continued to play well throughout the college football playoff. And Miami is out to a 17-10 lead with 2:18 left in the half. But that gives time for Miami to try to get down the field. Also, you could say it gives time for Miami to try to force a 3-and-out to get the ball back and maybe score before half. Wow, what a big play. What a big play. That's a huge play. So they're going to kick it off, not go to commercial, but kick it off because it is only 18 seconds until the 2-minute warning. Miami's averaging 0.27 EPA per play, and that's something we needed to see, I think. We needed to see if Miami could be explosive, and they showed that on that pass attempt, they can generate an explosive against this Ole Miss defense. Miami now is up to 230 yards with 22 minutes and 9 seconds of possession. They have 13 first downs. They're tripling Ole Miss in first downs. They're more than doubling Ole Miss in yards. They have 5 third down conversions. Ole Miss has none. And they have quadruple the minutes of TOP. Crazy. They're dominating statistically, but they're only ahead by 7 because of some explosives that Ole Miss has generated. So let's see if Ole Miss can respond. They need to before the half because this Miami offense has not had a single 3-and-out yet. They've moved the ball on every drive. They had to punt on one, but they still picked up a first down there. Chambliss hits his man number 4 for like a 4-yard gain. Number 4 for them is Caleb Odom, sophomore tight end with 193 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. That's going to be the 2-minute warning. So when we get back, 2nd and 6, 2 minutes left in the half, Miami 17, Ole Miss 10. Show me what you have in the chat. Sam, is it good to comp Miami's offense to the 21 through 23 Michigan offenses? Yeah, I would probably say it's much more like a, I would say it's a good comp. Yes, it's not perfect. No comp is ever really perfect, but it's a good comp. I think Beck is probably a middle ground between Cade McNamara and J.J. McCarthy. Closer to McCarthy, though. And this Miami run game is a lot like Michigan's in 2023. Almost no explosives, but does a very good job at never giving up TFLs and almost always gets 3, 4, 5 rushing yards. I would say it's a good comp. Yeah, it's not as efficient. It's more penalized. It's not as disciplined. Nor do I think in totality it's as talented, per se. But it is a very... It is a effective offense, for sure. That's a good comp. Take a bite out of my baguette. At halftime, sorry to speak with my mouth open. At halftime, I'm going to get some water, but then I'll come right back. Be like just 5 minutes. Pee, get water, come right back. We're back. So I swallowed the last of my baguette just in time. Funny how that works. Just in time. So 2nd and 6 from the 29. That's where Ole Miss is. They got to go 71 yards to tie it. To tie it. Just need points. They probably need to go like 41 or half of the 71. They're going to try to hand it off to Logan Diggs. Diggs breaks through a few tackles, gets a gain of, I would say, 4, maybe 3. So it is going to be 3rd and very manageable. But if they don't pick it up, Miami will have enough time to get the ball back. I think they're bringing in an extra offensive lineman, and they're going to go Wildcat. And they're not going to get it. No. They're not going to get that one. And Miami immediately calls a timeout. Again, what is it with all these Wildcat plays? I don't know if that's an insane decision, because Ole Miss... Like, Ole Miss does use some of that Wildcat stuff, I think, consistently. But I still don't really like that. It's just, why? Just, you were running it well. Just okay enough to probably pick up 2 there. Why not go for it or rely on Chambliss's arm? That's just me, though. You get to see Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler up in the booth there. It's pretty cool. So Miami forces a 3 and out. Do they get the ball back and score with it? Because if they make this a 2-score game at half, getting the ball out of half, they can make this game ugly and pave their way to the national title game. It's all in front of them. Malachi Tony fair catches it at the 25. So that was a 42-yard punt. Miami will have it with 1:19 left in the half and a timeout. Question is, can they operate an offense that quickly to get down the field? Because it's not really how they're built. But if they can just get in field goal range, that should be enough with what they've been doing. Beck back to throw, straight drop back. Oh, you can't do that. He just took a sack. About a loss of 8, maybe 9 yards. Stared it in the face. That sack was by Princewell Unman-Malin, number 1 on defense. 2nd and 18, and I think Ole Miss called the timeout. Was that it? Yeah, I think Ole Miss. Yep. I think Ole Miss called the time. Yep, Ole Miss called the timeout. They believe they can get the ball back pretty quickly. That was a big play by Ole Miss there. Big play, because if they can get the ball back and score, I'd argue they have momentum entering half. I mean, again, Miami's nearly quadrupled them in TOP, which is crazy. They're going to hand it off. Miami's going to hand it off to Charmar Brown, just be conservative and try to burn Ole Miss's timeouts, I guess. That'll get them back to the 19. So it'll be 2nd and 16 or 3rd and 16 instead of 2nd and 18. Ole Miss calls their second timeout. Do you just try to, see if you can find someone deep and chuck it, or do you run it again? Because that could change everything. As for latest transfer portal news, Hassan Longstreet, quarterback at USC, entered the transfer portal. Not a big surprise. His brother entered, I think, yesterday, and Maeva announced that he would be back. So Riley will be quarterback shopping for sure. They're going to run it again with Brown. Brown is going to get to the 24 at the very best, and now it looks like there might be a fight breaking out at midfield. Not midfield, but where the end of the play was. No flags thrown. It's going to be 2nd and... It's going to be 4th and 12, 4th and 11. Yeah, 4th and 11. And Ole Miss takes their final timeout. So they'll have 1 minute, 2 seconds to get the football back. And to be able to drive down, get some points on the board, tie this thing up, or at least make it a 4-point game entering the half. It was a big moment there for Ole Miss's defense. And for Miami, I understand it is 2nd and long, and you like to be conservative, but Beck was having a good game. I don't know. I can't really criticize that game management, though, because what if you turn it over? Then you give them guaranteed points. Ole Miss is coming after this punt, though. They are not going to get there. And it will be a fair catch at the 30, maybe 31 for Ole Miss, or they will have the ball with 55 seconds left. Trinidad Chambliss is out there. Let's see if Kewan Lacey joins them. Nope, it's going to be Logan Diggs. I imagine Lacey's out. So 69 yards to tie it. Probably only need like 29 yards to even be in field goal range because Carneiro is a stud. Made several 55, 56 yarders against Georgia in that win. Chambliss, protected. Going to get it out to Diggs. Diggs is going to get out of bounds, where he picks up a gain of, I would say, 4, maybe 5. So, yep, going to be 2nd and 6 with 46 seconds left. And out of bounds, so no need to hurry, even without your timeouts. And they snap it. Miami sends pressure. But Ole Miss protects them long enough to pick up the first down. They're out to the 44 of their own territory. That was number 2, Caden Lee, on the reception. No, Harrison Wallace. My apologies. And that is just going to be an out-of-bounds pass again to Harrison Wallace. That picks up a gain of 6, gets into Miami territory. By out-of-bounds pass, just by the sidelines, just catches it, steps out. That way you're not in bounds, and you gain some yardage. Now they're on the Miami side of the field. It's 2nd and 3. And they're going to pick up another first down. It's going to be 1st and 10 at the Miami 40. Number 19, Caden Lee, was on the reception there. Now they're close to Carneiro's field goal range. And they're just going to spike it. So it'll be 2nd and 10 with 24 seconds left at the 40. Good drive that Ole Miss is putting together. Really good drive. They're probably at the tip of his field goal range. Preferably, you want to get a touchdown here, but a field goal cuts into the lead, gives you some momentum entering the half. And I think Miami, they called their final timeout. They didn't like something there. So both teams now without their timeouts, 24 seconds left in the half. Oh, bless me. Can't wait to get more portal updates. Georgia got an Auburn edge and a really productive Georgia Tech receiver. Pretty good. And they also got Conley from USC at corner, Khalil Barnes, safety at Clemson. All right, Trinidad Chambliss going to throw. Oh, that was nearly picked off by Day, 23. Nearly had a pick there. Dylan Day is the backup strong safety. He read that perfectly. Chambliss looking for a corner route to number 19, Caden Lee, and Day read that perfectly like a book, nearly picked it off. Could have even had a chance at 6. Instead, Chambliss gets another chance. He's going to get it out to the sidelines. Got it to number 4, but it's going to be 4th down. It's to Caleb Odom. So it's going to be 4th and... Oh, no, they ruled it incomplete. Yeah, they ruled it incomplete. So Carneiro is going to try for a long field goal, a 58-yard field goal. Let's see if he makes it. and right down the middle. It's good. 11 seconds left. Miami leads 17-13, and Carniero, I think, just made his career long, right? He had to have. Just made his career long. Yes, he did. His career long is now 58 yards. He's going to have himself a day in the NFL. And Ole Miss got him out of the portal from Western Kentucky. So he is now 29 of 32 on field goals, completing over 90% of them. Hasn't missed an extra point. And he's 9 of 10 from the 40s and 4 of 5 from 50 plus. Incredible kicker. Incredible weapon. He's going to kick it off. And Miami will have 11 seconds. I assume at this point they're just going to run it and go into halftime with the 17-13 lead. And then what I'll do is I'll get water, I'll finish up the rest of my food, and we'll be back. Yep. Oh, he's going to kick it out of bounds. So if you're Miami here, don't you try to heave it? Because it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 35. You might be able to get one broken play into Dylan Joyce's field goal range. So it was a kick out of bounds. It is going to be 1st and 10 from the 35. Could probably just try one deep pass. Nope, they're just going to knee it. They're going to knee it. That'll be it. And we're at halftime, ladies and gentlemen. So stay here. We're going to be back in 5-10 minutes. And we'll do some things at halftime. We'll talk with you. And that'll be incredible. So thank you guys for watching. We will see you in a few minutes here. Miami will receive the second half kickoff. It's been a great game so far. We'll tune in again within 5-10 minutes. All right. Thank you for your patience. Nice little break that I was able to have there. Really nice. Actually, better idea. To help me sit with a better posture, I'm going to get a pillow. There. My chair is unfortunately too low, really, for my build. So putting a pillow under just helps my, helps to where I'm sitting with my knees under my hips and not above them, which helps posture. So there we go. Okay, let me see what questions, if any, you guys have, what statements you have. Okay, Fisherman says, Ohio State's going to lose Bo Jackson. I see you always, you're tweeting on Twitter. Passionate Ohio State fan. Is this confirmed, or is this just a rumor at this point? As to where, what's-his-face is going to go. I guess Texas got another commit. Oh, they got Raleek Brown. That's who else they got. They updated all of Ohio State's commits. They got John Walker, Christian Allegro, Devin McCune, Dalton Riggs, Mason Williams. Keenan Nelson Jr., backup safety, entered the portal. Oh, they just raided Zion Williamson. That's what happened for Texas. Yeah, because Bo Jackson's not in the portal officially. Ty Haywood entered the portal. Saw that. Not shocked at all. Looks like Northwestern got a good tight end pickup. Ohio State Beat is saying it, not official, because Bo Jackson's asking for $1.5 million. Yeah, I mean, look, inflation's real. I know that he'd be making more than Bo Jackson, or not Bo Jackson, than Quinshon Judkins did, both in college and in the NFL, but that's the reality. Like, Sorsby's going to be making $7 million. He's going to make more than, like, some NFL quarterbacks, like some rookie NFL quarterbacks. Not top-end first-round guys, but he'll be making more than quarterbacks that were taken on, like, day 3. And Sorsby right now is not even a day 2 or day 1 pick. He's not even close to that. Sorsby's a good college quarterback. That's the name of the game now. It's insane. We need regulation. We need a lot of things, but that unfortunately is the name of the game now. So teams can either hold out and trust that they won't be left behind, because I do feel like, by the way, DeMond Williams did return to Washington. He returned. And he says he's fully committed. So it sounds like Williams, at the end of the day, like, yeah, he initially betrayed his team, but he saw his team as more worth than trying to go through the legal means. So that's also the name of the game in college now. Like, is he fully committed? Well, maybe not, but I think he's going to play. That's kind of what matters. And he'll fight for his guys, as people do in the NFL. You can wait it out and get left behind, or get left behind for a year and hope that enforcement comes soon enough to where it's just a temporary setback. But you also risk getting, really left behind. Yeah. Crazy things. Daniel sent a chat earlier. Nice Skeletor profile pic. I agree with what you said. Ole Miss has looked very dead on offense outside of that long run by Lacey. And hopefully Lacey gets back in the game, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like Lacey's probably done for the night. Which is a shame. Barely below 300 carries on the year. And he's going to finish with like 1,539 yards, average over 5 yards per attempt. He'll have 23 touchdowns with a long of 75. It's crazy. 73. Correction. Long of 73. Ooh, hamstring. Ohio State's already at 40 million for their roster. Yeah, and they probably won't be the biggest spenders. Like, I imagine Texas Tech will be spending 50. I bet Texas will be spending 50. Like, the year over year, it's going to increase by millions or tens of millions of dollars for the top spending teams. Ohio State spent $25 million in 2024 to win it all. Michigan spent less than that in 23. Georgia spent less the prior seasons. Every team from here on out, that wins it all. Not that wins it all, but like the top spender is just going to go up and up and up and up. Indiana, I think, spent in the mid-20s, probably similar to like the top teams of last year. Probably spent lower 20s, maybe upper teens on their team, I would say. They spend a lot on coaches, but coaches aren't NIL. That's like the athletic department itself. If IU solely spent with like athletic department money and donations, they could probably spend they'd be even closer to the top of spending probably. Just because Big Ten teams have such like a large, maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but they have such a large endowment. Well, halftime's going to be over shortly. What team is Raiola going to pick up? Is going to pick up Raiola. That's what I meant to say. What was I going to say? Wait, visiting Syracuse. Oh my gosh. It's so bad. So bad. Yeah, Fisherman. I don't know. I trust Day. That's what I will say. I know a lot of trust in Day has been lost by some Ohio State fans. My trust in him hasn't been lost. I never really thought he was ever going to run a dynasty or that he was ever Saban or ever better than Kirby. So he's just right where he's always been for me. Like, he's a top 3 coach. Unless Oregon wins it all, and only if they do certain things while winning it all, like if they show me against IU and whoever wins this game, they're just way more physical than them, OSU will be the number 1 program. No one's going to take OSU for that number 1 overall program, except for Oregon, like this year. If Oregon just dominates its next 2 games and shows that they just can develop at an insane caliber, peak at the right time, and, Lanning shows brilliant coaching in these final 2 games, then maybe I'd consider it. But I still think Ohio State is the best program. So, those are my final thoughts on that. Top 40 coach, you're funny. Yeah. I have no idea who's going to pick up Raiola. No idea. I'm going to answer. Whittington is questionable? What? There's no way. That has to be like messing with Sig or trying to. I'll answer this after I call bits of this game. So Miami hands it off to Mark Fletcher. He gets a gain of 3. It's going to be 2nd and 7. The pissed off Ohioan asks Sam thoughts on OSU having a legit QB battle and maybe having St. Clair for 2 years instead of 1 because he beat San out. I mean, I don't know. I'd probably say, should there always be open competition? Of course. Will St. Clair beat out Sayin? I do not think so. No. Wow. Well, hey, thank you, Fisherman, for pointing that out. That's very useful info by you. Miami missed a pass. I think it was on a out route to Keelan Marion, so it's going to be 3rd and 7. Thank you, Fisherman. That's valuable information. I did not know that. Man, Oregon's running back room just keeps getting dinged up. But still think they have a shot. Regardless of that. All right, 3rd and 7 at their own 28. Beck, going to be a screen pass. It's wide open for Tony. Tony gets all the way down to the Miami 47 for a first down. That is a 19-yard gain. Big time gainer by Miami. And they convert. They needed it. They needed that first down badly. Let's see if they can parlay that into a touchdown. Beck, play action, going deep for number 7. That is going to be PI. That should be PI. But it's not going to be. Kept grabbing C.J. Daniels' arm, pulling it down. John Henry Daly committed to Michigan at edge. That's some transfer portal news for you all. Rated as one of the top defensive ends at his position. Let me see how highly he was ranked there on the defensive line. Like a top 10, top 15 defensive lineman. That's pretty good addition there by Michigan. 2nd and 10 for Miami at their own 47. It is going to be a handoff to Mark Fletcher, and Fletcher's going to get pushed by his offensive lineman. Whoa! That is like all the way down to the 33. That was like a 20-yard run with 10 of it, if not more, being pushed by Bauman, by Bell, by number 3 for Miami, Joshua Moore. It's a really good push there. Physical. And Mario Cristobal's loving it, as the former offensive lineman himself is trying to get Miami to their first national title game since 2002. This is 12 personnel. It's going to be a flea flicker. Beck is going to just throw it away. That's going to be called for intentional grounding. Yup. Good play by Ole Miss's TJ Daugherty on the blitz. He got Beck, and that set Miami back more than 10 yards. That's a huge loss. It's going to be 2nd and 20 plus, right? Oh, yeah. That's going to be 2nd and 20. 2nd and 21, 22. Big loss for Miami there. Big swing in momentum. They are going to run it, and Fletcher basically got back to the original line of scrimmage. It looks like he may have been able to get through and go home to the end zone. It's going to be 3rd and long, but Fletcher got most of those yards back, and Miami is at least in field goal range or very close to it. 3rd and 8. So he got a little bit more back. He got 14 on that run. 3rd and 8. Ole Miss looks like they want to send some pressure. Will they? They will send some stunts. And he just did not connect with C.J. Daniels. Daniels was open, as number 32 for Ole Miss, Chris Graves Jr., did fall down, but Beck and Daniels just were not on the same page, and it's going to be a field goal attempt. It's going to be a 50-yard field goal attempt by Carter Davis. So Miami does get a drive going, but it's going to end in a field goal to make this a 7-point game. If they miss it, it's still a 4-point game. 17-13 is the score right now. Kick on the way, and he pushed it right. He pushed it wide right. No good. So Miami misses an opportunity, and Ole Miss will get the football at their own 33. Going to be a TV timeout, and they'll be right back after that. Again, Miami just dominating stats here. Absolutely dominating them. I mean, the Hurricanes have how much do they have? Like, let me reload this. They have 25 minutes of possession, more than triple the TOP still. 270 yards. This is crazy. Wow. And on game on paper, they're still winning the stat battle. Whew. Any other transfer portal updates or news? I mean, we got John Henry Daly to Michigan, Omarion Davis to Penn State, Lachlan Kerrigan, a punter from Memphis, to USC. Just looking for anything, man. That's all. Looking for anything. Clemson with 8 commits, by the way, in the portal is fascinating. That is interesting for sure. Oh, Lacey is back. Good, honestly. Ole Miss needs him. It's going to be a play-action pass. It's caught out of bounds by Dijon Stribling for a first down, and Ole Miss is already moving the football. Out past the 50. Going to have it at the 46 of Miami. Nice little RPO there. Or play action, not really RPO. Another play action. And it is caught yet again, this time by Caden Lee. That's going to be at the 35 for another first down. Gain of 11 this time. Ole Miss moving the football quickly at the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Little RPO there. Read perfectly by number 8. Almost picked off, but just couldn't hang on. Jacoby Thomas, who is second on the team in interceptions. First being Bryce Fitzgerald, the true freshman free safety. Second and 10 from the 34 of Miami. And Chambliss just behind his man, Caden Lee, he is not having as good of a game as he did against Georgia. But the pressure, Miami's doing a really good job forming really a cage around Chambliss. It's not just a bull rush. They're intentionally trying to like get around the tackles and just cage him in so he can't, go to one sideline or the other. Miami looks like they're just going to send 4 here. They're going to send 5. No, only 4, actually. And, nearly picked off. 4th and 10. So, number 2, Harrison Wallace, nearly caught it. He bobbled it. And then number 24 for Miami nearly picked it off, that being Ethan O'Connor. But then it was hot potato with the football is what it was. It's a perfect way to describe it. Hot potato between number 31 and 24 of Miami, Wesley Besaint, and Ethan O'Connor, and Harrison Wallace. A 52-yarder by Carniero to make it a 1-point game for Ole Miss. Snap, hold, and no good. He missed it. It bounced off the left upright. He missed it. First field goal from 50 that he's missed in this postseason. Miami gets the ball back. So teams are trading missed field goals here. Initially, a successful drive by Ole Miss turns into good field position for Miami at their own 34. Doink. That was pretty quick. That was pretty quick for sure. And commercial break. They did. And again, Miami has dropped a few picks here and there. I mean, they've probably dropped 2 or 3 so far. And they're still ahead by 4. It's the long Kiwan Lacey run screws everything over for Miami. Because Miami is not an explosive team. They had the one explosive pass, but I think that has a lot more to do with what Ole Miss's defense is. I mean, they're doing a pretty good job putting Chambliss off his spot and making sure that doesn't turn into something else down the field. Doing a very good job at that. Any other transfer portal updates? Because there's just things happen so quickly in the portal. Penn State got another 300-pound defensive lineman from UCLA. Got Keanu Williams earlier in the week, and now they get Saleh Topaki. Hopefully I said his name properly. So it's 1st and 10 for Miami. They had a missed field goal. Then they gave the ball back to Ole Miss. And then Ole Miss missed a field goal. So as we have 10 minutes, 56 seconds left in the third quarter, got much of the football game left, can Miami put together another suffocating drive and this time punched in for a touchdown? What do they do? It was good to see Lacey was back in the game, though he didn't get any touches on that drive. Those were all passes by Chambliss. All passes. They should try to run they should try to run him some more, because Lacey's a really good player. Honestly, as of tonight, he is Ole Miss's best player. Beck, straight drop back pass. He is going to get to the 35, maybe 36 for a gain of 2. Just had to run up the middle to escape pressure. They're going to give him 1 yard. So 2nd and 9. Yeah, Miami has an opportunity to put this game away if they can make it 24-13 with how the game's been dictated. But if they just get a field goal or miss it, you're letting Ole Miss hang around despite statistically dominating them. They're going to hand it off to Mark Fletcher. Fletcher is able to break a tackle with second effort, gets a gain of 4, so it's going to be 3rd and 5. And some chippiness between these two teams. Beck back to throw on a 3rd and 5, is going to escape. Tony is going to help lead his defender away, and Beck is able to scramble for a 1st down out at the Miami 47. So it's 1st and 10 around midfield. Miami's in 11 personnel. They motion over Tony to the left-hand side of the field. They're going to hand it off to Fletcher. Fletcher bounces to the outside. Fletcher's able to pick up a gain of 4, maybe 5, gets into Ole Miss territory. So Miami now putting together a drive. They're going to hit 30 minutes of TOP on this drive, which is, again, this game is the offensive version of Oregon, Texas Tech, where one team is dominating, but they're not pulling away. I wonder when Miami's pull-away moment's going to be. I feel like it could come on this drive. Picked up 5. They're going to hand it off again to Fletcher. Fletcher, I think, only gets 1, maybe 2 yards there. So it'll be 3rd and 4, maybe 3rd and 3.5. Do you just run it again? Try to set up a 4th and short and power through? Is that what you do? We'll see. Third and 3. Ole Miss has like 6 guys up at the line of scrimmage. They are going to hand it off to Charmar Brown, and Brown picks up a 1st down and then some. Gets inside the 40. It's going to be 1st and 10 at the 39 of Ole Miss, and like I said, Miami is going to get 30 minutes of TOP here on this drive, and they're approaching 300 yards. This is a vice grips drive by Miami, a championship drive if they can pay it off. Against 11 personnel with Charmar Brown in that backfield. Is it going to be another handoff? Yes, it is. Brown just picks up 3, probably. 2. They're going to give him 2. It'll be 2nd and 8 from the 37 of Miami. Of Ole Miss. My apologies. And false start on Miami. That'll move him back. It'll be a 2nd and 13. And they just crossed 30 minutes of TOP. So congratulations, Miami. You've won the TOP battle no matter what. And it's only going to get worse as the game goes on because Ole Miss likes to go quick tempo. And Miami loves to go slow. 2nd and 13. Oh, dropped by Josiah Trader. It was right at the 34. Would have made it a 3rd and very manageable, but now it's a 3rd and very long. Miami's 8 of 13 on 3rd down, by the way, and they don't even have 20 points despite nearly having 300 yards. It's been the penalties, the missed field goal, some dropped passes. Beck also hasn't played as well as he did against Ohio State. I know the stats may not reflect that, but that's because Ohio State's defense is much better than Ole Miss's. Ole Miss going to try to send pressure. Beck is going to step up. Beck is going to try to run this thing. Beck is going to get down to the 31, maybe 30. It'll be 4th down, but it will be a very short 4th down. It'll be like 4th and 2. So I think if you're Miami, you go for this thing. You know, Davis has already missed a field goal. It's 4th and 2. You've been running the ball well enough, and Ole Miss's defense is probably tired enough to where you can run this thing and pick up some yards off it. Let's see if they get it. This is 12 personnel. They are going to hand it off to Charmar Brown. Brown powers his way forward, and his O-line pushes him all the way down to like the 22 of Ole Miss. Big run right there. It's like a 9-yard pickup, and 6 or 7 of it being yards after contact. Huge run. And you can just tell that Ole Miss defense is tired. They've been on the field. We have 20 minutes left in this game, and they've been on the field for 32 minutes already. It's just, that's malpractice. They've been on the field for 32 of the 40 minutes in the game. That's crazy. They're going to hand it off again to Charmar Brown. He got a gain of like 4 while tripping over his own guy. Didn't even do much. This Ole Miss defense is just tired. You know, Miami, Ole Miss is going to have to respond with a touchdown on this next drive to give this defense some juice. They look tired. They look exhausted. Daughtery's tried to talk him up, being the leader that he is at linebacker, the quarterback of defense, but I do not like Ole Miss's position defensively. Miami's just in 12 personnel, and they're gonna run this football. Now that was a good play. Stopped him behind the line of scrimmage, I believe, did Yates. And it looks like, Ole Miss's, like, Xavier Harris is just out of breath. Same with Will Eccles. Harris is going to come out of the game. Eccles is more of their pass rushing D-tackle, so he's going to stay in. But 3rd and 7, got an opportunity to force him to just take 3. But you also have an opportunity here if you're Miami to, again, convert, extend this long drive, and really just, twist the knife. If you're Ole Miss's defense, you probably need a big... Oh, false start, that's what... You also needed that. I was going to say you need a turnover here, but the false starter helped back him up. Yeah, Miami is not playing as good of a game against Ole Miss that they did against Ohio State. They played a much better game against Ohio State than they did against Ole Miss. Like, defensively, they played a better game. Offensively, they played a better game. Just in every way, they played better against Ohio State compared to today. Only position that's playing better, I would probably argue, is running back because he had the fumble, but running back was also valuable at the end of the game. 3rd and 12 from the 24 of Ole Miss. Beck, well protected, ball batted in the air, and picked off. So Ole Miss got the turnover they needed. The ball was batted in the air at the line of scrimmage and picked off. That was by number 7 with the interception, TJ Banks. I need to see who made that deflection at the line. They're probably going to... Oh, no, that was Geschkin, I believe, who made the pick, because they're giving him the chain. Yeah, Geschkin, the strong safety. They need to show that play again so I can credit who made that play at the line of scrimmage. Huge interception, though, for Ole Miss. They might review it. Oh, it's going to go to commercial break. So that was a big turnover for Ole Miss. Yep. Miami had all that momentum, and they gave a turnover. But almost the good news is that Ole Miss will have to drive they'll have to drive 86 yards to take the lead. And there's been nothing indicative that they can do. There's been nothing that's indicated. Wow. Yep, this third quarter might go scoreless, guys. But Miami produces the first turnover of the day. And they've been so successful metrically, but in the big moments when they've really been needed, they haven't been there. Wow. Whew. Wow. what a game so far. Okay, so we have it. Yep. Oh yeah, that was deflected at the line, and Gushikin had a really nice catch there to pick it off. So Ole Miss is going to start from their own 14 with the turnover. Chambliss wants to throw it, throws it across his body, and it's caught, and DeJon Stribling is down at his own 32. So already a good gain by Ole Miss. They start off this drive with a good pass. They're moving. I think you need a touchdown here. Maybe you can get away with a field goal with how you've held Miami to 17 somehow. But I don't know. First and 10. Play action to Lacey. Chambliss, he's going to try to go deep. And it's picked. Oh, wow. Almost picked off and then dropped. O'Connor had the pick in his hands and yikes, just dropped it. It's going to be 2nd and 10. Yeah, Miami's dropped like 4 interceptions today, and Ole Miss caught really the one of 2 that Miami's potentially thrown. Oof. That's painful. And Ole Miss has picked up a first down. Got it off to Stribling. It's a gain of 12, 13 through the air. Nice catch. Gonna be 1st and 10 at their own 44. Play action, Chambliss under duress. It is caught for a 6-yard gain at the 50. Listed as 2nd and 3. When will they run Lacey? Not now. Caden Lee picks up a first down on a screen pass, and they're in Miami territory. Chambliss, back to throw, incomplete. Just off target, looking for his man. That was... Who was that? That was Kawan Lacey out of the backfield. Play action for Chambliss. He's looking deep and just incomplete. Overthrew his man. That was number 11, Deuce Alexander. Second string wide receiver Z. Just couldn't quite get there. Third and 10 for Ole Miss. They're in theory in Carniero's field goal. They're in theory in his range. But you never know. You'd preferably pick this up. Chambliss is going to figure out a way to escape and not take a sack, but get brought down. That was by number 18, Armando Blount. Or was it a sack? No, just got back to the line of scrimmage. So they're going to bring out Carniero. Just try to get more points. Miami's defense is at a really good game, all things considered. This is for the first points scored in the third quarter. 54-yard attempt by Carniero. And good. I think it bounced off the upright in to the net. So 17-16, and Ole Miss has the first points of the third quarter. A Carniero, man, like 3 of 4, long of 58. He's been a weapon for them in this game. He might win them this game if they can continue to force stops. Good drive by Ole Miss. Nice response. I said earlier they needed a touchdown, but they got the pick. So they're in a good position here. They have the momentum. Good play by him, and they're going to take a commercial break, I guess. Thank you guys so much. We're gonna get very close to 31,000 today. We gained over 110 subs today. That's awesome. Super awesome, guys. Like, thank you so much, seriously, for all the support. It's incredible. Honestly. It's incredible. So thank you. I appreciate it. Incredible. Oh. If you're Miami, I kind of feel like you need a touchdown here to regain some of the juice that you had. I mean, you've controlled all aspects of this game, but you haven't pulled away yet. Oregon, at this point, pretty much had pulled away. Like, by the end of the third quarter, it was 13-0, and Tech was on a drive, but just felt like, if not for a miracle, that Oregon was going to win. And this game's not going that way. Which really shouldn't shock us, because Oregon's better than Miami. I mean, I'm pretty confident in that. Oregon's better than Miami. Yeah, Miami's playing a worse game than Ole Miss is, honestly. Like, Chambliss has stepped up in a good way. They haven't really given Lacey the football that much more. They're probably just keeping his load light, trying to. But, now it's a 1-point game. It's 17-16. What sucks? Miami's going to get like 1, maybe 2 plays, and we're going to hit another commercial break. Okay, Chuck, thank you for being a member, and to answer your question. I think that Miami's going to win. I think they have more sustainable offense, and I know it hasn't looked like their night so far, but I believe in sustainability and things you can replicate. Not a lot of what Ole Miss has done has been able to be replicated. Yeah, Carniero hit it off the upright twice. But he kicks it off. Miami lets it bounce into the back for a touchback. Yeah, Chuck, thank you for being a member again. Appreciate it. I think Miami's going to win this by hook or by crook. Just how bad was Georgia? Georgia wasn't bad. It was just a bad matchup Georgia probably matches up with Miami even better than Ole Miss does, I would argue. But maybe I'm incorrect there. Yeah, Miami's going to get 1 play. Then we're going to be barraged with another commercial break. It's going to stink. Miami's killed themselves with false starts, with that, tipped pass. They're going to hand it off to Fletcher. Fletcher is going to get a big run down the sidelines. That's a huge boost of energy for Miami. I mean, he got that thing all the way down to what? All the way down to the 40. This is a 15-yard pickup. That's the end of the third quarter. So let me read some stats while this commercial break is going to go on. So, Miami has 162 rushing yards on 41 carries for 4 yards per carry. Ole Miss has 74 rushing yards on 10 carries for 7.4. Ole Miss only has 37 plays. Miami has 65. Miami's averaging 7.3 yards per attempt. Ole Miss is only averaging 5.9. Miami has a sack and 1 TFL. Ole Miss has 2 sacks and 3 TFLs. Miami is 337 yards, 33 minutes and 50 seconds of possession. Again, they're still tripling up Ole Miss and TOP, and they're ahead by 1 point. That's bad. That is very, very bad. Oh. Well, my prediction that Miami would get 4+ sacks is going to be dead That did not happen. But they have done a good job of like caging Chambliss and setting him off as rocker, and that's done well enough to give Miami an edge here. This is crazy. Yeah, Miami is quite literally 15 game minutes away from playing a national title game in their home stadium. Isn't that amazing? Are you feeling better about the same RE tomorrow's winner taking the Natty? Yes, I am. LSU vs Far. Hypothetically, if Miami scores a touchdown, should they kick the extra point and make Ole Miss go for 2 to tie it? Or do they go for 2 and gamble going up by 2 scores? I would say you do the latter. There's been no indication that Ole Miss can score a touchdown on their own. Go up by 2 scores. Like, put the game away. But Miami will have it 1st and 10 from their own 40. They just need to play clean football and march down that field. They're the better team, and the metrics and all these different things support that. I mean, they're better in all these categories. They're just whiffing on things. Like, they're moving the ball well, but then they shoot themselves in the foot, and now they don't. Beck going to get out in space to Malachi Toney. Toney is able to pick up a 1st down, get a gain of 12 out to the Ole Miss 48. Good pass, good catch, good run by Toney. Toney, by the way, is 45 receiving yards, crossed 1,000 barely against Ohio State. Just an absolute weapon that they can use in a variety of roles. Beck takes the handoff. It is going to be to Mark Fletcher. Fletcher gets down to the Ole Miss 45 for a gain of 3. It's going to be 2nd and 7. That's the problem with Miami's style of play, is the minute they mess up, they get behind the chains, they have a false start. Really throws a wrench into what they want to do offensively. Really throws a wrench into that. Oh, whoa, I missed that. That happened so quickly. That's a big sack. What happened? Oh boy. Yeah, that was bad. They failed to pick up Perkins. That's what happened. Landon, I do think Indiana beats Miami. I do. Huge sack by Ole Miss and Perkins. That's their 3rd of the day. It's 3rd and 16. Beck, under duress, Beck is going to take another sack. And Ole Miss is going to punt this football, or Miami's going to punt this football back to Ole Miss, only up by 1. Just it's another blown up drive. Wow. Yeah. It's so bad. Man, it just, in what world does Ole Miss get 4 sacks? It's just nuts. Insane. Wow. Welp. Again, another drive where you're doing well and you decide to go away from the run. Like, what? Why do you go away from the run? It's crazy. Now, Ole Miss has it at their 10, and with how Miami's defense has been playing, I would not be shocked if they somehow get like a turnover here. But Ole Miss's defense just has to be tired. That's my thing. They've been on the field for 36 minutes and 30 seconds. Run the football. Run it. That's all you need to do is run the ball. You do not need to drop back shotgun pass it. Not with Carson Beck. You do not need to do that. It's crazy. So crazy. Like, I don't know what Miami's doing. Are they trying to get the kill shot? Your kill shot's running the football. My goodness. This is not good. Really not good, guys. It's not. Oh, wow. It's bad. Whew. Well, Ole Miss has it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think he had Tony wide open and he would have picked up a first down. No, that was Marion. Yeah, he had Marion on like a cross route. Marion would have picked up that first down if Beck just saw him, but he didn't. Well, 90 yards to get a touchdown. Less than that to take the lead. But they hand it off to Lacey, and Lacey's tackled in the backfield for a loss of 1. So it is going to be 2nd and 11 for Ole Miss. Not off to a great start on that drive. And is that a first down? No, but it's going to be 3rd and 1. That was a good pass by Chambliss to DeJon Stribling. That's gain of 9. I would say 9.5. 3rd and 1. They are going to hand it off, and Lacey breaks a tackle and is able to pick up the first down. They had him dead to rights, but Mesidor just couldn't prevent him from getting across that 20. So Ole Miss is able to extend the chains. Getting tight, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? It's getting tight. Play action for Chambliss. Chambliss throws it, and it is caught by Daquan Wright, the tight end. And they are out to just past the 40, or right at the 40. Yeah, they're going to put it right at the 40. So that is a 20-yard gain by the tight end, Daquan Wright. Going to hand it off to Lacey. Lacey gets 4 yards, 1 or 2 of them coming after contact. Mohamed Touré and Armando Blount bring him down. It's going to be 2nd and medium, 2nd and 6. They're going to run it again. Lacey's able to get past the 50 and pick up that first down out to the Miami 48. So Miami now driving, and Ole Miss is now favored to win by ESPN's FPI with how they're moving the football. going to hand it off. 17 only gets about maybe a yard on the jet sweep. Winston Watkins, backup slot receiver, true freshman. Going to be 2nd and 9. Chambliss, play action, blitz is picked up. Chambliss is going to try to run. And did he catch that? No, incomplete. Dropped by Deuce Alexander. So 3rd and 9. Huge opportunity here for Miami to get off the field. And they need that. And then after this, they need to go on their long vice grips drive. But that is only if they get off the field here. Lined up Ruben Bain at defensive tackle. Looks like Toure is going to come on a blitz. Miami sends basically the house, and it's caught anyway for a 1st down over the middle. They find Caden Lee, and there is going to be a flag. I wonder what the flag's going to be. What's the flag? They're zoning in on Keontae Scott. Oh boy. They're going to review it. Seems like the call on the field is targeting. Is that what they're questioning? I mean, he tried to turn his helmet away, so I don't think that's targeting. But I could be wrong. That was a big pickup by Ole Miss there. Beautiful throw. They picked up the blitz nicely. Wow. Yeah, I don't think that's targeting. But again, I could be wrong. Whew. It's crunch time. Yeah, it looks like they have confirmed it. They're still reviewing it, they say. Yep, call upheld. So number 6 is not only out here, but if Miami somehow wins, he'll be out for the first half too. Number 6 is Xavier Lucas. So Xavier Lucas is out. You'd rather have him be out for targeting than Keontae Scott, because they were focused in on Keontae Scott initially. So this is huge here. It's 1st and 10 at the 21. Again, Miami is dominated statistically. But Ole Miss is in a position to take the lead if they just don't mess up. They're going to hand it off to Lacey. Lacey tries to get to the 2nd level, gets a gain of 4, maybe 5. And there are going to be flags for a late hit. That was on David Blay. Yeah, David Blay launched in there, and it seems like Miami's just melting down. Yup, personal foul. Oh boy. Yeah, Miami just keeps hitting themselves in the nuts with penalties. And it feels like Ole Miss is going to get a touchdown here. They're now given a 62.9% chance to win per FPI. If you're a Rebel fan, you can feel it now. You might be playing for the national title here shortly. They are going to hand it off to Keywan Lacey. Lacey gets down to the 4, maybe 5, where it will be second and goal. So, or not 4 or 5, it'd be 6 or 5. So gain of 2 or 3. And it seems like, Akeem Mesidor's hurt. That's unfortunate. Wow. Ole Miss now favored to win. Oh, wow. Hopefully he's okay. Bless me. Yep, those are the same guys that beat Ohio State, Hoosier Dave. It happens. Neither of these teams are really more than a touchdown better than the other. I'd say except for like Ohio State, Oregon, and IU might be more than a touchdown better than Ole Miss. But we'll see. This drive began at their own 10, by the way, for Ole Miss. Yeah, the national especially if Ole Miss wins this, the national champion will be Indiana or Oregon. It'll be decided tomorrow. I will tell you guys right now, I would be on Indiana and I would be on Oregon over Ole Miss, and probably both over Miami too. Not just from today, but from what models have said and before this game. And oh my gosh, Armando Blount is still on the ground, still hurt. Wow. He's going to get up under his own weight and come off. I don't know what happened to him. Something did. Looks like he'll be done for the day. Yeah, hopefully he's okay. So it's second and goal for Ole Miss at Miami's 5. They're going to do this. They were originally in Wildcat, then they put it back, and Chambliss only gets a gain of 1 on that zone read. So it's going to be third and goal from the 4. If you're Ole Miss here, no matter what, you kick it. No matter what. You have the better kicker. Wow. My, oh my. Chambliss, back to throw. It is incomplete. He was looking for his man number 5. Keontae Scott was there to tackle him, but number 5, Kawan Lacey, dropped it. It's going to be 4th and goal from the 4. They'll send out the field goal unit to make it 19-17. Good stop by Miami, but Ole Miss has a very solid chance. It's at a bad angle, but they should be able to take the lead here. $22-yarder for Carniero. And it's good. So Ole Miss goes ahead 19-17. Miami has not scored yet in the second half. Ole Miss has kicked 2 field goals. Score is 19-17 Ole Miss with 7 minutes left exactly in the 4th. If you're Miami, run the ball. Put your head down and run it. Wow. You know, I can't wait for. So after this, I got to do my instant reaction for this game. Then I'll do shorts because my guy sent me some shorts for today. And then I might stay up to play a game or I might go to bed. And tomorrow is going to be mostly a chill day. I'll do some editing for my live show on Saturday. And then we'll go live for Indiana and Oregon. Man, so many of my bold predictions on this game were wrong. One thing I was right on is that Ole Miss would kick a ton of field goals here, but Miami did too. I thought Ole Miss would outgain Miami in total yards. They have not. Miami is not going to score a defensive touchdown, barring something insane. This is crazy. Guys, also got to remember, this is a point that was just brought up to me in a text. This is a Big Ten crew. They're not going to call holding. So that's affecting the game, too. Carniero going to kick this one off. Miami will let it bounce in the back of the end zone for a touchback. And they'll come out with 7 minutes left. 1st and 10 from their own 25. And this place is rocking with Ole Miss fans. They can feel it. They're just 7 minutes away from getting their 14th win. And, you know, going to the Natty with a chance to win it all. It's up to Carson Beck. Beck is back to throw. Beck is going to take a deep shot, and it's still caught by... No, it was dropped by Keelan Marion, but he almost caught it. But he gets a call for PI on Ole Miss to bring it to the 40. So Miami will have it 1st and 10 at their own 40. That was Ole Miss's first major penalty of the game. Yeah, Beck underthrew that one. Scott had his man beat. If Beck had a stronger arm, that could have been a touchdown. Marion still almost caught it despite the PI, but it was bad PI there. So obvious by, I think it was number 32. Screen pass to number 7, CJ Daniels. Daniels gets a gain of 8, maybe 9 out to the 48-49 of Miami. All you need is a field goal to take the lead. A touchdown would do a lot for you. They are going to hand it off to Mark Fletcher. Fletcher has found space. Fletcher's going to get out to the 35-yard line of Ole Miss. That's a gain of 17 right there. Just nice blocking. Really good blocking there. Outside zone. First and 10, Mark Fletcher unfortunately falls down for the Canes. Loss of 1. It's going to be 2nd and 11. Just did not have the leverage he thought he did. And it costs Miami there. Again, they're going to win TOP no matter what. They're going to win rushing yards no matter what. Clock ticking. The time is not Miami's friend. It's Ole Miss's friend. They're in the lead, and if Miami scores without managing this properly, Miami will have enough, or Ole Miss will have enough time to score back. Going to be a screen to Malachi Toney. Toney gets through the seams. Toney's gone. Toney is going to be in the end zone for a Miami touchdown. Going to be 23-19, and got to wonder whether or not Miami will go for 2 to make it a 6-point game. 36-yard receiving touchdown for Malachi Toney on the screen pass. Big play there. Massive play. 4 plays, 75 yards, 1 minute 56 seconds, and Toney gets a big play for a touchdown. That will be Malachi Toney's 9th receiving touchdown of the season, and Miami now has a 79.4% chance to win. And they just kick the extra point. Just a beautifully designed screen pass. Miami's entire O-line was just able to get to the second level, and Toney just was able to keep his balance and have enough space to make something happen. He's special. He is special. It's a big play there by Miami. And now with 5:04 left in the game, you know, Ole Miss is a shot. This is what college football's made of. They do have a shot, but, you know, they have not gotten a touchdown outside of that big play. So we need to see what they're made of here. and Beck doing the guillotine motion. I mean, Ole Miss has fought. They've fought. There's nothing bad you can take away from Ole Miss that we didn't already know. I mean, they've played this closer than they should have, looking at the game script. This game could be a double-digit or 3-score lead for Miami based on how this has been scripted, and it's only a 5-point lead. So, can't take a field goal unless, say, you get down there very quickly and you still have all of your timeouts and the 2-minute warning. Then maybe you can, and trust your defense to get the football back with how it's played. But, yeah, I mean, you got to get a touchdown here. You do. 5:04 left. You know, Miami's 12-2, Ole Miss 13-1. Either of these teams will be an underdog in the national title game. Miami's already been an underdog in 2 playoff games. Ole Miss has been an underdog in 2 of them as well. They'll be an underdog. The winner will be an underdog in their third. They're used to it. Wide open Daquan Wright gets out at the 45. 46. And Thomas is going to take himself out. Already got hurt. Refs called injury timeout, and then he subbed himself out because he got up after that. But Daquan Wright already gets Ole Miss down to the 46 in their own territory. Good pass by Chambliss, good corner route by Wright. They're going to hand it off to Kewan Lacey. Lacey picks up a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and 8. And Lacey crosses 100 with that rush. 10 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown. So he's added to his total. I mean, he's really what's kept them in this game. That and Gushikin with the interception. Chambliss back to pass. He's going to look deep. And it's incomplete. Looking for his man Dejon Stribling, but Miami's number 16, Jabari Anthony, was able to break that up. Really good coverage, staying in his man, and was just able to keep his arms up enough to wedge that football and get it out. It's now 3rd and 8. If you're Ole Miss, I assume this is 4-down territory. What are they going to do? Did someone take a timeout? Or was there a false start? I think Miami took a timeout. Used their first. So it's 3rd and 8. Miami calls a timeout. They want to make sure this plays right. Yeah, I mean, guys, when you look at this game from an EPA per play perspective, Miami is just owning Ole Miss. The only thing Ole Miss is beating Miami at is yards per play because of the explosive. And they're winning at havoc rate because they've won the turnover battle and they've gotten more sacks. That's it. That is all they're winning at. All they're winning at. And welcome in, concurrent viewers. Love to see you. Make sure, if you haven't already, to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment your thoughts down below. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, that can be for later. 3rd and 8. This is the game, by the way. This is the game. Chambliss, back to throw. It's incomplete. And they're going to throw a flag. They're going to call it PI. Whoa. I need to see that again. Really? That was PI? Yep, they're going to call it. They're going to call it PI, and that moves the chains. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was PI. That's the correct call. That was PI. I didn't see him grab him, but he did. That's PI. Can't be grabby. Can't give the receiver a bear hug. Can't do that. 1st and 10 at the Miami 45, 4:14 left in the game. Chambliss back to throw. Chambliss is going to try to get on out of there. He does. And Chambliss is all the way down to the 25 of Miami. Good long run by him. Or no, I think it's down to the 30. Nope, he got out to the 25. 26. So Ole Miss is moving this football quickly. Lacey gets a gain of 2. It's going to be 2nd down and 8. You know, for as much as Miami has been on the field and kept their defense off the field, Miami's defense has looked a little bit gassed at times. I think that is because of who Chambliss is, in part, with his scrambling ability. 2nd and 8. from the 24. And Daquan Wright has a touchdown. Ole Miss is a long 24-yard touchdown by Daquan Wright. Makes it 25-24. And Ole Miss will go for 2, and we'll see if they get it. That was a huge response by Ole Miss on that drive. Wow. Whoa. And they're going to stay on the field to go for 2. And it's wide open to Odom. It's 27-24. Whew. We have a ball game on our hands. 27-24 Ole Miss. 3:13 left in the game. Miami has the 2-minute warning in all 2 of its timeouts. Just clean pocket. Daquan Wright catches it in the end zone, or just before the end zone. Miami now going to have to respond. Wow. (27-24) Ole Miss. And Carson Beck with an opportunity to solidify himself as a Hurricane legend. Beck, back to pass. He is going to go deep, and he just was not connected with Keelan Marion. If he connected on that, that would have been a big gain. That's a big missed opportunity there. Max Ellis, Indiana would rather see Ole Miss. Won't have any home field advantage. You will not have the you won't have the line of scrimmage issue, and I think Indiana's fixed a lot of their busted play stuff as the season's gone on. It's caught by Keelan Marion. It's going to be 3rd and 2. Now, I think if you're Miami, you run this thing. Just to keep up the down and distance. Little corner route there. He caught it. Good on him. 3rd and 2. That's what they're going to do. They're going to run it. Fletcher's able to pick up a first down. Extend the chains. That's important. Remember, you do not have to get a touchdown here to win. All you need is a field goal and try to get the ball back. This does not all have to be on the offense here, but it may as well be. Beck going deep, and it is dropped. He was looking for his man Alex Bauman deep, and he just couldn't bring it in. Whew, almost brought it in. Almost. Going to be 2nd and 10 from the 37. Carson Beck, back to throw, and Charmar Brown is able to bring it out to the 40, the 39. I mean, if you're Miami, you probably wait until the 2-minute warning, right? Yep, they're going to. It's going to be 3rd and 8. So you have 2 plays to get the 8 yards. 2 plays. 2-minute warning. Miami only has 2 timeouts, so, you know, you turn it over here, and it's likely game over. Yep, 3rd and 8. Wow. Well, about to be wrong again with multitude of different things. Wow. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. IU does not already have Oregon beat. Public may think that in part, but I don't think so. I don't think Signetti thinks that way. I don't think intelligent people think that way. Wow. All right. Bless me. 3rd and 8 for Miami. Game on the line. You need 2 plays. 2 plays to pick this up. Beck, back to throw. Incomplete. That should be a flag. It's given. Number 2 for Mississippi. That being Jalen Braxton dragged Keelan Marion to the ground. Dragged him to the ground. Now, if you're Miami, you can run a bit. You can try it. You can try to run. That was classic PI. They'll now have it at the Ole Miss 46. So we've seen 2, 3rd and longs that could have effectively ended the game be extended due to PIs from both sides. First and 10 from the Ole Miss 46. Beck, going to just try a screen. It's worked before. Gets down to the 42, so that's going to be a gain of 4. Miami will go quickly. I cannot believe that Beck has had 31 pass attempts, 48 run attempts. They needed to be much more run heavy today than they were, but whatever. Beck going to step up in the pocket, roll around, And is that a catch? They're calling it a catch. Wow, by Malachi Toney, out of bounds. Inside the 35. Did he catch that? Yes, he did. There's not going to be enough evidence to overturn that unless his heel touched out of bounds. What a phenomenal catch. Oh, I think that'll be overturned. Nope. No. That's a catch. His toe touched before his heel. That's a catch right there. He might be out. I can't tell exactly, but I thought his toe was in first. Maybe I'm wrong. They're going to review it. I mean, it's close enough to where if they overturn it, you live to fight another day, you know? I mean, Miami is still dominating the EPA metrics. Nope, they rule it incomplete. Yeah, and at this point, you have 2 timeouts, but you're not going to get the ball back. You need 6 yards to pick this up. Spread has been locked on live betting. This is it. 3rd and 6. I think they got it. I think they got it with C.J. Daniels. Yep, they rule it a first down. He extended the ball across the plane. It's first down. Just, 30 was on him for Ole Miss. It was on him. But C.J. Daniels extended the ball forward, and yup, that's a first down. Clock running. 1st and 10 at the 35 of Ole Miss. Back to throw, and incomplete. 2nd and 10. You think they try to run it here? Like, they're already sort of in field goal range. Kind of think they should try to run it here. And yeah, if this game goes to overtime, that's phenomenal. That would be epic if this game goes to over. I mean, Miami's already crossed 40 minutes of TOP, guys. Already crossed 40 minutes of it. So. Beck, they're going to have him throw it again. And that was batted down, almost intercepted. They'd have to rely on a 52-yarder from Carter Davis. I don't know why you pass it like 3 times in a row there. I mean, technically it's twice, but I don't like the emphasis on passing here. Like, now you kind of have to because it's 3rd and 10, for crying out loud. But we'll see. And that is caught and reeled in by Keelan Marion for a first down. Clutch throw by Beck. Clutch catch by Marion inside the 20. He's going to come out of the game. So Miami converts. They're inside the 20 and easily set up in field goal range. You have 2 timeouts. Why don't you try to maybe run it a play? I don't know. Like, the clock is your friend at this point. That did not work, whatever that was. I do not know what that was. Miami's going to call a timeout, though. I'm pretty sure. Yep, 2nd and 11. They're going to call a timeout. That was such a clutch throw by Beck. The dig route was open with Marion in between the zone, and they converted it. Oh my gosh, it's so disgusting, man. Yeah, I mean, look, I think Oregon or Indiana beat either of these teams by a touchdown, at least. Not I don't know who's going to win tomorrow. I would pick IU, but it's going to be really close. I think either would win a natty against any of these teams. What are you doing? I mean, that is caught inside the 10, to be fair, for a first down. It's a good throw by Beck, good catch by Marion. Talk about Keelan Marion, guys. Marion is over 100 receiving yards, and Beck is approaching, he has over 250 passing yards. Were they reviewing it? And I think now Miami's calling a timeout. No, Ole Miss used a timeout. They want to preserve time. Wow. I mean, hey, Miami might win this, and they've played one of the worst games I've watched. Yep, 1st and goal for the Hurricanes. Mark Fletcher is going to cross 1,000 yards today rushing. Wow. Man, I mean, talk about dominating. They're going to run it with Charmar Brown. Brown gets down to the 3. And I think Miami called the timeout. Yeah, they called their first. I mean, Miami should be able to punch this in and just win, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, at this point, Miami has been on the field long enough, and Miami has produced enough plays. Like, Miami has ran 87 plays. That's a lot with post-clock. That's a lot with modern clock rules. They should just run it in. You know, run it in once, get up quickly, run it in twice, then call your timeout on 4th and goal to run out the field goal unit. That's what you got to do. Like, no passing here. Or maybe you pass and then you run. Like, why are you passing? Why? Oh boy, that's a touchdown. Oh boy, that's the entire left side of the end zone was open for Beck to scramble in. Touchdown, Miami. Wow. Good for him. Good for him. His OC has screwed him today, and he really hasn't made too many fatal errors. Wow. Good for him. I got to be happy for him, man. Good for Carson Beck. That's it, right there. Well, it's not it, because Ole Miss can probably get down the field in 18 seconds. But, yeah, this is probably over. So the ACC is going to have its first national championship representative since 2019. Oh boy. That's wow. That is whew, what a game. What a game, guys. This is incredible. What a game. Such a good drive by Miami. Really two good drives in terms of result. Play calling I was confused on with that final one, but Miami made it work anyway. Which shows you I think they're the better team. I think Ole Miss has had the better game plan today, and yet Miami is still going to win. Wow. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I have to say is SEC in shambles. They're not going to be in the national title for a third year in a row. Oh wow, they quickly got to the 50. I mean, Miami is playing prevent defense. And this game isn't over. I'm acting as if it is because it most likely is. But you never know. 11 seconds left. 2nd and 10. Oh my gosh. They're actually they're in range to score. That's crazy. That is insane. And I think Ole Miss just called their final. Yeah, because this is the final play. Yep, Ole Miss called their final timeout with 6 seconds left. Miami given a 97.9% chance to win this game per FPI. Makes sense. It's very improbable even at 35 yards, even with 35 yards to go, that they get in. Very improbable. But you never know. Yep, this is Hail Mary. Classic Hail Mary. And Miami calls a timeout. Wow. Yeah, I cannot wait to do this instant reaction. This is going to be a fantastic one. Do they hook and ladder or Hail Mary? You do Hail Mary because you're actually in range. Chambliss is an arm that can throw it 35 yards. You're in range. So you throw the Hail Mary up. Last play of the game. No timeouts. Chambliss. They're forcing him to roll out to his left. And it's incomplete. That's it. Miami's done it. They move on to 13-2, and they're going to play for the national championship game with a chance to win it all. Wow. That's it. That's it. And yeah, I agree that was probably PI. But they're not going to call PI in a Hail Mary. They're not going to do that. These are Big Ten refs. It's not going to happen. Just Big Ten refs don't call a lot. And, yeah, that should have been PI, but it's not. Game's over. Okay, everyone. Well, we're gonna come at you with an instant reaction sometime in the next probably 45 minutes. Hopefully 30, but promise at least 45. We'll see you all tomorrow for Oregon versus Indiana, which should be an excellent game, just like this one was. Love you guys so much. Thank you for a lot of views tonight, for just a lot of fun. What a blast.